All right, so we are back at the auctions again. Unfortunately, we couldn't snatch up any of the cars that we were looking at last week. The ISF sold for about 30 grand or so. So whoever bought that, I think there's a decent amount of profit in it. Hopefully the engine's all good. The Polo GTI, they set a ridiculous reserve and it was never met. The Audi, however, as I drop the keys, the Audi, I think the person who bought it, funds fell through or something, because it is back up on the auctions again this week. So we'll definitely have another crack at that, maybe. Hopefully we can get it. But without any further ado today, we have got an Australian icon, one that potentially had bit us in the butt, but we actually ended up making up money on, is this Holden Commodore. Okay, so I've actually filmed this already and figured out that the microphone wasn't filming. So if it seems a little quick, it's because I've already done it already. On the outside, paint looking really good. Like the other cars in the auction yard though, just a ton of dust. Tire tread is quite good on the front, which is what you'd expect. The real question will be, what is it on the back? And yeah, not bad. Probably another year or two on those tires, which is good. Like I said, you can see here just so much dust over everything. But we've got a tiny little nick here on the boot. Someone's obviously loaded something in. And for the most part, I can't fault it. Everything seems very good, which is good because this car is relatively new, or new to us. So definitely could be a potential buy. Yeah, some people did comment on our review of the VE Commodore that we had earlier this year. We are not Commodore people. We were all just experiencing as we got it. Having said that, the VE and before, I'm not the biggest fan of it is gonna hurt a lot of people, but I'm just not the biggest fan. And the VE was, I got to experience it and still didn't really like it. This, on the other hand, obviously this is not an SS, this is just an SV6. However, it's a much nicer place to be, which is, I think, where I didn't like the Commodore. I love the V8, loved the manual transmission. That was no problem. It was the experience of being inside the car. Now I know it's an older car, I'm not expecting it to be brand new, but things like BMWs, Mercedes, they just were a nicer place to be inside. That being said, the inside of this Commodore, the VF Commodore, is so much better. It is an insanely nice place to be. And definitely from this generation onwards, I think the Commodore is very, very good. Now, obviously the engines are a bit different. Again, I'm not a Commodore guy, but I can appreciate this. So inside, nice leather steering wheel. We've got buttons and stuff, all new modern stuff. I really like the center gauge cluster. It's nice, it's simple enough, and yeah, it looks really good. But we'll see. I know it starts because it just started. Starts right up perfectly. Aircon works. Got a nice Holden logo pop up. Yeah, it's all really nice. The fit and finish, the leather feels good on the places that you touch. There is obviously some plasticky bits, but it's like every other car on the market. So yeah, we've done 168,000 Ks. So for a car of this age, it's actually getting up there. It's quite a bit. Yeah, I think it's still okay. We've got some functionality in the screen, but all in all, it's much nicer place to be, much nicer. We'll pop the hood and show you under there. Okay, and as you can see in here, it looks practically brand new. Idles perfectly, everything looks really good. You can see down there the alternator looks brand new. You've got power steering, electronic power steering down there. I don't know if you guys can quite see it. That looks brand new. Everything looks absolutely mint. Like this car has only driven indoors, which is extremely weird. But I'll set you guys up out the back and we'll give it a little bit of a rev. So a little bit of condensation, but apart from that, revs beautifully. Doors are locked. But yeah, so I think this is a very, very good contender, because it kind of fills that gap of somewhat of an enthusiast car being a Commodore in Australia, and secondly, it's not the SS. So it's a little more family friendly in terms of fuel, insuring it, registration, that kind of thing. So I think we've got a few things going for it. We're getting the seats. The seats are really nice. I like it. It'll just come down to whether or not we can get it for the right price. So 168,000 K, so your mainline dealer is probably not going to be stocking this. So it'll just be your second-hand car dealers, that kind of thing, that we'll be up against, as well as anyone else privately that likes the look of this car. But yeah, if we could definitely get it for the right price, this would be a really good buy, and I hope, an easy sell, because everything seems to tick a box. Like it's all good. We'll see. Do they keep the service history on the computer? Doesn't look like it. I have to check the service history. I'm fairly certain it's got service history. But yeah, so all in all, it's a really good car. Perfect. And I don't mind how it sounds actually for being a V6. But yes, on to the next one. All right, for all you non-Euro lovers, we've only got one Euro today, and it is standing right in front of me. It is none other than another Golf GTI. All right, so Golf GTI. We did have one on the channel earlier this year. It was a two-door. This is a four-door. In a very nice silver. I really like it. I really dig it. Although I do love silver cars. Now this one cosmetically looks a little bit more how you're going. We've got a ton of what looks like sizable rock chips, and then looks like they've filled them, some of them, but not really painted them. It's also very dirty. You can see even with the dirt, try and get that away, just a slight cloudiness. So if you watched our one of our previous videos where we got rid of the haze from the MX-5's bonnet, this could be another contender. Although with all these little pitting marks, rock chips, I don't know how well a polisher or sander is gonna, or polisher is gonna go through that. So I don't know, maybe look at a new hood. It looks like they've applied at least a can of tire shine per wheel, because the wheels are very shiny. Decent enough tread, enough to definitely get roadworthy. There is a big scrape on the front, so someone's hit something. Got a nice little nick down the side, as well as the rear bumper. The rest of it seems pretty tidy. We've got a couple little chips and stuff on the rear bumper, but all in all seems fairly good. Jump in. Now this Golf actually has leather seats, which you do, it's not rare, but you don't see it that often. Funnily enough though, the Golf that we did have at the start of the year did have the leather seats. In here, probably looks very similar to what the Polo did. That's kind of cool, chromed out middle bit. I think that's aftermarket. I am noticing a couple of different kind of not factory items. So this starter thing here doesn't look stock. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that silver thing is not stock. But yeah, inside it's not too bad. We've got a dash mat. Not a fan of dash mats. I think the cars look just so much cleaner without dash mats. But yeah, it's not too bad. We'll see if it's got battery, if it will start. We've only done 114,000 kilometers, so not too much. Okay, she is not happy. As you can see, it is misfiring badly. Amazingly, it's not throwing a check engine light, which, being a Golf, I thought, oh, check right front side light, okay. Check left front side light, okay. It is not throwing a check engine light or a code. Wow. There is some tomfoolery going on here, because Volkswagens are they just throw codes for everything. So, well, it seems to have evened out now. Still very hesitant though, like, I'm not too sure about this one. It's definitely evened out now, it seems to be idling fine, but that was a very rough start. Anyone else like a custom intake made out of duct tape? We've also got, this is missing a vacuum hose right there. I'm assuming that goes into the intake. There is so much, God, crap on here. So that could explain why it was starting a bit rough. It's idling fine. Ooh, that belt looks like it definitely needs changed. So she's a bit rough, which could be a good thing, because it could be rough in the right way. Like the front, a bonnet's not too bad. It'd be dependent on where can we find a silver bonnet. Things like this little ding here, yeah, there's not much we can actually do about it unless we send it to a body shop, but then, you know, that's a bit more money. I'll sit you guys out the back. Yeah, so mechanically it seems fine. It's just that start was really iffy. So first of all, we'd have to, if we were to get this, sort out the duct tape intake. Yeah, that doesn't look good when you open the hood. Besides that, everything else seems fine. The door card is a bit, how you going? But I mean, got a tiny little bolster wear. Obviously, they're either a watch or bracelet wearer. The rear seats seem pretty good. Yeah, might have just scared me a little with the start, but it's not too bad. I think, yeah, it depends on the price though, because if it goes cheap enough that you can fix all those kind of things, still make profit. At the moment, I think it is in that range, but it'll be whether or not it stays in that range. But we'll head on to the next one. We are on the hunt for our next car. It's meant to be somewhere around here. It's a bit more of a conservative pick. I think I've just spotted it. Again, unusual times. People are tightening their budget, so we need more, I guess, kind of A to B cars is the one way of putting it. And there is nothing more A to B about a Mazda 3. So yes, Mazda 3. Now there's nothing wrong with a Mazda 3. Mazda 3s can definitely be made cool. I'm not dissing on them at all, but it is more of a commuter car. So going around it, the front tires, they're a bit marginal. We probably have to get some new tires. We've got a little bit of hazing, I think, in the top of the bonnet, although everything's caked in dust at the moment. Yeah, those tires are very borderline. Yeah, and on the rear, quite similar. So if we were to pick this up, tires would definitely, unfortunately, be something we'd have to look at. Now this hasn't actually done that many Ks. I believe it was like 40,000 or 30,000, something like that. And it is quite new, jumping in. It is also, it still has that new car smell, surprisingly. Still not seeing how many Ks. Oh, there we go. 38,200 Ks, so barely any Ks. We'll start it up. Starts right up, cold starts, a little bit louder. Shame about the stereo there, not the best. But this is a new car, perfect first car. A little storage there. Exactly what a young person would need and want. Needs a bit of a clean and tidy up, but for the most part, it's nice, it's clean, it's new. It's funny and kind of loud, not really. Okay, so it was in sport mode. So that opens it up. Sounds exactly the same when it's in normal mode. Well, yeah, so we got a basic radio, basic climate control. Yeah, if we could definitely get this, I think this would be an easy sell if we can get it for the right price. Yeah, we'll pop the hood. There's probably not much to see, but yep, brand new. Very, very brand new. Oh, that's a heavy bonnet. And we can see whoever owned this went to the local university. So it definitely was owned by a young person. Do you guys want a rev? Yeah, we'll do a rev. Keep your opinions to yourself. Yeah, it just looks like condensation. So this could be a really good pickup. The bodywork seems in perfect condition. Yeah, I'm not seeing any imperfections. It's only done 38,000 Ks. It still hasn't even ticked over the Ks it needs for its next service. I have just noticed we've got a crack in the windshield here. So because it is touching the side here, that isn't roadworthy. So if we were to pick this up, we would have to get a new windshield, which with the sensors here, I think there's a rain sensors, I believe, or I'm not too sure, maybe cruise control. Yeah, we'd have to get one. Interestingly, they have the cutout for the VIN. You can't see it. So that's a bit odd. So a windshield, and that looks like it. So that could potentially be a very good buy. I probably, rather than walking away, should turn it off. Not the coolest car in the world. It's not going to turn any heads, sorry. Or it could, you know, nice set of wheels, slam it on the ground, good tint. Anything can look that good. But yeah, at the moment, especially with Morgan's MX-5, we're still waiting for that one to be sold. We haven't got the full budget to go full send and buy an ISF. So we've got to have a look at these little cars, because there is money in them, and it is what the dealerships do week in, week out. So we could just, you know, play their game a little bit. But we've got one final one, which is, if we were to get it, it would be the biggest Hail Mary swing to try and make some money. If it worked out, it'd be really good. But it could potentially just ruin the entire challenge. So sit back and wait for that one. So you're probably wondering, what is the big Hail Mary, the big potential risk? It is not this GTR, and unfortunately it is not this beautiful, well, beautiful to me, Boxster. We are in the cool section. We got, you know, Evo 3, I believe, WRXs, all sorts of cool cars. But we are looking today none other than a Honda Civic Type R. So yes, you're probably wondering, how could we afford this Type R? First of all, this Type R gets a lot of hate. I actually really like it. Everyone thinks it looks like, what do they call it? Robot vomit, with all the fins and stuff out the back and diffuser and 3 exhaust pipes. I really like it. I think embrace the crazy. But I'll try and get in and then we'll go into a bit of story time. Ugh. Oh man, short person drove this. Ugh. Story time about this car. First of all, is there aircon? Because it was cold this morning, now not so much. All right, so this Type R. It is on the Wova. It's a repairable write-off that's since been cleared. Which you're already thinking, okay, so it's a $50,000, $45,000 car. So knock 20% off, you're probably looking at around about high 30s. Still not in your price range. And you'd be correct, it is not in our price range. However, this one, on top of being written off, call me crazy, maybe this is just because Morgan isn't here. This one has a bunch of faults. I don't know if you've been hearing the beeping the whole time, but I'll bring you guys around here. I'll turn it off and I'll show you the Christmas tree. So that's kind of cool, Type R. I'll show you the Christmas tree that awaits you when you get in. So you get in your car, turn the ignition on. It's telling me clutch pedal. I'll just see if it will, there we go. Got a nice cool little startup. Okay, so ACC check system, I'm pretty sure that's accident control, so the thing that will self-brake. LCAS system, no idea. EB system, I'm pretty sure that's electronic brake. What else we got? Tire pressure monitoring system, check that. What else we got? VS, check that. I don't know what VS is. Brake hold, check that. Check the steering. I think it's running out of, nope. Check system for ABS, we've still got more faults coming through. Traction control, yep, we need to check that. Might as well check everything at this stage. Hill start, check that. Collision, yep, check that. What else are we checking? Lane departure, we got to check that. This is going, okay, yep. Check the automatic headlights, this is going on and on and on. What else? Oh, we got to fasten our seatbelt. Okay, so now that that's all started, let's start it. So you can see, starts perfectly. We try and clear, okay, it's going to go through all the systems we have to check. LKAS is flashing green, and then whatever that is. Lane departure, tire pressure. So yeah, there's a bunch of things going. Now, to a normal person, that would scare the living crap out of them. To me, I'm thinking, surely every single one of those systems can't have something wrong. Surely that's got to be stored codes after the crash or something like that. Surely it can't have pretty much every single system wrong on it. I could be wrong, but the car is running fine. It's saying it's got steering faults. However, I can turn this lock to lock with one hand. Anyone that has ever been in a car that hasn't had power steering, that is impossible to do with one hand like that. You need both hands, and it's an absolute mission. So steering seems fine. All of the other crap is just all the nannies. So like your collision warning, it'll have a camera or a sensor that will be measuring the car distance in front, traction control, all that kind of thing. Like, it just seems like it's all either faults that need to be cleared or there's some electrical gremlin. But everything seems to be fine. Like, if we go home, okay, like this all works. We'll go radio. So speakers all work. We'll get to not sponsor anything, but my radio channel. There we go. Yeah, before we get monetized. So that all works. If we go back to the home and we go, where is, can you swipe? Oh, you can swipe. Okay, so this is kind of fancy. Okay, there's nothing there. What about menu? Home. App list. Do we have like a maps or something? Anyway, I don't know how to use this car. Everything seems to be working fine. If we switch it into R mode, drive mode change unenabled. Okay, so that's annoying. Comfort, nope, can't change that. Brake hold, don't know. Park, just park. So the handbrake, electronic handbrake still works. I don't know what else is there to test. Like aircon, if we get down low, it's gonna start shooting air at me. Yep, shoots out, it's cold, good. Like, everything seems to be good. Revs, fine. Like, to me, this car is fine. So, like, everything seems to be fine. It's just there's so many lights on this. Yes, we'll end it here, just because the aircon's beautiful. So, we had the Commodore. I really like that. I feel like that was a safe bet. It'll just be down to whether or not we could get buy it for the right price. We then had the Golf. Little bit how you going around the outside. Engine was really bad to start with, but then evened out. I feel like it was like that because it had a giant hole in the intake manifold where a hose is meant to go, and possibly because the intake was made from duct tape. So I feel like that one, a lot of people will be turned off by it. Me, not so much. Don't mind it. We then had the Mazda 3. That one is, if you could ever buy something from the auctions without any risk, that would be it. Obviously there is some risk to it, but that car, 38,000 Ks, it's perfect. And then we get to this one. Now this one, car is awesome. If we can get rid of the codes, we could sell this for your high 30s or so. We do have to buy it though. So could we get this for just a smidge under 20? I don't know. At the moment, yes. It does have a reserve on it, but with the amount of lights, I feel like whoever is selling this wants to just get rid of it. So I don't know. It is interesting. So that's where we'll let off. What should we buy? I really like to look at the Civic. I know a lot of other people probably don't, because there are so many things flashing at me right now. I don't know what to say. I think it's really cool. I mean, I haven't really actually talked about much of the interior. We got these really nice, like, bucket kind of seat Type R's. We got a nice ball shifter here. The shift boot's a bit, like, that should be a bit better. Huge center console. Driving position is really good. Again, the steering works, so I don't know what they're on about. I'll pop the boot and we'll end, pop the hood, we'll end it there. Actually, we'll do a rev test as well. Alright, so we have got right there VTEC Turbo. Everything seems to be fine as well. Like I'll have to see what was on the Wover report because everything seems to be pretty good under here. And the front, like it's just a very nice looking car. I'll set you guys out the back and we'll see what it sounds like. So yeah, it sounds really good. It'll just be whether or not, yeah, one, we can get it for the right price, and two, hopefully it's not going to bite us in the ass. We'll turn it off here and I'll take you guys out. I mean, I kind of already took you guys out. So yes, what should we get? Should we get the Commodore? Should we get the Golf? Should we get the Mazda 3, or do we just full send everything we've got and try and get that Type R? I want to try and get that Type R, but I take a lot more risks. Like I'd risk it on that than Morgan does. So it's kind of good that we kind of balance each other out. But let us know down below, what should we get? Oh, that Type R is making me very excited. We'll see you guys in the next one.